you so much, Betty, for getting this set up for us. Hi, everyone. Welcome to those at a distance. We have the wonderful faculty fellows with us this afternoon. They are here to introduce themselves momentarily. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to discuss with you the Faculty Fellows program. Faculty Fellows was first introduced to the Faculty Center for Innovation last year. It is a group of, sorry about that. This group was formed last year to actually come together to discuss teaching and learning and to express innovative ideas and to be able to create special interest groups. And if you are interested in creating a special interest group and actually forming a cohort, they will be able to answer any of your questions. If you would like to know more about the Fellows program, you're able to find that information online at innovatepark.org/facultyfellows. And if you have questions for us, please feel free to contact us at innovatepark.org. Or it's actually innovate at, yeah, okay, sorry, long day.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Glenn Lester. I'm one of the faculty fellows. My faculty fellows, I guess, project or topic maybe is the right word, this year has been teaching for transfer. So what that's meant in terms of my work, just for those of you who are kind of interested in what this being a faculty fellow is like, what I've done is I've used this time and to explore a different approach to teaching primarily first-year writing courses, using some principles of teaching for transfer that were developed by researchers at Florida State University and elsewhere, where they've sort of designed a very particular curriculum that they argue and have some evidence to show help students transfer writing knowledge from a freshman writing classroom to other writing situations. As we all know, as teachers, lots of students don't do that very well or very effectively. And so I've been kind of testing that out, seeing what elements of that curriculum work for us at Park, what might need to be adapted and adjusted. And then I've also, as a faculty fellow, led a special interest group, which at least some of us here have been to a couple of those meetings. Kathy, I know you have. Brent, I know you have. Some of the room as well, where I have led the attendees of those meetings in ongoing kind of discussions about issues related to transfer and tried to spark some discussion and offer some resources for how my colleagues can design their classes in such a way that might reflect what we know about how students engage in learning transfer. I guess we might get into some of the technical details about like what the requirements are as a faculty fellow, but those have been kind of the main things for me. I've treated this opportunity not just as an opportunity to kind of lead a learning community, but also as a way to really kind of systematically adjust my teaching and try to study it in a way to see what works and what doesn't. So that's me.
I'll go in order. I guess I'll go next. Okay, so I'm Debbie Morrison, and I'm a faculty in the social work department. And I always tell my little story because I think it's important for you all, if you're interested in the Faculty Fellows program, to kind of understand where I came from. So I'm a relatively new faculty. This is only my third year here at Park, and I wasn't sure that I would even have the skills or sort of the knowledge in teaching or any of that stuff to be a faculty fellow. And I was at the symposium, the Creative Arts Symposium last year with a student, and Jamie encouraged me to apply based upon what she saw the student working on, and I had helped the student, just not helped, but sort of, sort of facilitated her presentation at the symposium, as a faculty sponsor will do, and helped her with a poster and all that. And so I thought, no way, I can't do that. And then I looked at the application and thought, oh my gosh, it's way too much work. There's no way. But then I thought about my topic, and my topic was actually encouraged through this particular student. It's universal design for learning. And I thought, no, it's too important of a topic. I have to go for it, but chances are it's, I'm just going to apply and learn from the experience. But lo and behold, they liked my topic idea. And so here I am. And so I've taken this opportunity. It's one of my favorite things that I'm doing here at Park. And I feel so privileged to be a part of this cohort and the program. And it has engaged me in so many different levels that I wasn't experiencing in my department. So I'm so grateful for this program. And what I've done this year with Universal Design is, just like Glenn talked about, I've used it to refine my own work on increasing accessibility in education and in courses and learning, and explore it and try out different things. And then also provide information to other faculty on how they can improve accessibility in their courses, and explore together some ideas on not only improving our courses, but improving the whole atmosphere here at Park for students. And so for me, it's, this topic has been something that, I've been really passionate about, and it's just been the joy of my life to share it. And then I also had the opportunity to present it at the CEDL, or not CEDL, what is it? KCPDC, along with Judi and Katelyn on this topic. And so I've been able, and I'm looking at grant opportunities now to further expand this topic. So anyway, it's opened the door for me, and I think it's improved my teaching immensely, and it's improved my morale immensely at Park, just being part of the fellows program. So that's it.
Well, I'm Judi Estes, and I'm in the education department in the College of Education and Health Professions. And my topic had to do with technology, and I named my special interest group Technology in the Classroom and for the Workplace. I wanted to not look at different types of technology or to teach people how to use different software skills or investigate different hardware, but I wanted it to be more about the pedagogy of use of technology with instruction, because that's something we don't talk a lot about. I work a lot in K-12 education, but I think the principles of integrating technology with instruction are applicable to any content area, and certainly across faculty at any university. I was really motivated by some reports from the Department of Education Office of Technology on the importance of technology integration in higher education, and then another report specifically looking at integration of technology in K-12 education. Research says that when it comes to using technology in any faculty population in higher ed, and I would say this would be also true in the K-12 system, that 25% of teachers or faculty just shy away from use. They're not interested, they're afraid to try it, and they just shy away. 25% are like the pioneers going west. They want to try anything and everything all the time. And then 50% of us, and I kind of fall in this category, have a little bit of fear base around trying new things. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this was for us to really look at how powerful technology can be in terms of increasing critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and that if we focus on having a high-quality lesson design in our instruction, and interestingly enough, kind of incorporate all of the techniques that are shared by my colleagues as faculty fellows, we build community, and we also give authentic learning experiences. We have all of that, and then we power up by using technology in a meaningful way. We all know that technology we have today, much of it we either didn't even know about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, where it looked very different. The same is going to be true for the future, and probably at even a more rapid pace. So it's my belief system that it's not as important to get caught up in the specifics of what we're using, because we're all going to drift toward different tools that hopefully help facilitate our effectiveness in the classroom and our own productivity, but that we act as though we're one of those pioneers and we try new things. And that's been a growth for me through doing this, because I figure if I'm going to talk about it, I need to do it. And I've also found lots of opportunities that I didn't know exist, like through Google training that's totally free of charge, that's offered through Google. They have an Educator 1 training, an Educator 2 training that's very informative in terms of teaching basic skills. And I think the main take home I want to throw out is that, at least in my case, but I think the other faculty fellows too, what's been wonderful about it is we didn't present on something that we necessarily already had expertise on. We presented on something that we wanted to explore in a psychologically safe environment where we could demonstrate our own love for learning and our own joy of being collaborative. And that's one of the things that I've enjoyed most about this experience, is the monthly meetings, having the examples that my peers have put forth. All of the special interest groups have just been such a learning experience. It doesn't matter if there are 2 people attending or if there are 10 attending. A lot of people follow up between sessions, and it's just a wonderful way, as Debbie said, to become real stimulated by the whole process of teaching. That's my 2 cents.
So hi everyone, I'm Katelyn Handler. If you've not met, I am Parks Reference and Instruction Librarian. So I think that already is one of the ways that if you feel like, you don't know if you're quite a fit for the Fellows program, like I don't have assigned courses that I teach. Most of my instruction comes through through other faculty members' courses or other instructors' courses. But the program is open to anyone that teaches at Park. I had also been encouraged to apply last year by Stacy Kuykendall. I was actually out on maternity leave when this came up. So when she first approached me, I tried to very politely say, well, that's an interesting idea and I'll have to think about it if there's anything that I would want to explore. But like Judi said, it was really, taking time to sit down and think about what interests me professionally and what would I really want to explore, particularly relating to my teaching. And I stumbled onto my idea actually through a professional blog I follow of other academic librarians that had really started to try and delve into the science of how students learn and particularly relate that to sort of information literacy context. So how does this impact our ability to teach the skills related to do research, and what can we do better rather than some of this more sage on the stage in front of them, just telling them what they need to do, and really get into the science of what interests people in a topic and what makes them want to learn. And so I started exploring this more and came to the idea of wanting to look into learner-centered pedagogy, so placing the learner at the forefront, and particularly how that ties to any and all skills related to information literacy. So we've got 2 sort of spheres that we're operating in within my special interest group. I will say another way that I was unique among the fellows was that I was actually an alternate when I was originally chosen. So, all of these applications went into the Faculty Advisory Council, and they did a blind peer review process on them. And there were 5 fellows chosen, and I got an email, I want to say from Jamie, saying, your application was 6th, and would you be interested in being an alternate? And I will admit, after you have the initial disappointment, there was I guess I'll say yes, but I looked at the other faculty who were leading groups and what their topics were, and I was not particularly optimistic that anything would come of it. But I was still happy to have been chosen. I didn't want to burn any bridges, so I was like, yes, I would be happy to be an alternate. And lo and behold, Parks loss, with Shannon leaving, was my opportunity to be a part of this group. And I still hate that we lost Shannon, much like I'm disappointed that Adam's no longer here. But I am very thankful to have been a part of this group for many of the reasons why, many of the reasons that the other fellows have expressed. So I would also say, it's very worth it to go through the application process just to think about what interests you about teaching. But if you go through it and you are chosen as an alternate, also realize that there is still the opportunity potentially to participate with the fellows. I would also say, if you're chosen as an alternate one year, that's no reason not to continue trying to explore an idea and develop the application further and resubmit, because there's no way of knowing what the other ideas might be that year, and how your idea might be getting at the heart of the types of issues that FCI and other faculty want to be exploring. Because that's the other thing to think about too. All of these applications were chosen because other faculty looked at these issues and said, yes, these are things that we think are important to our own teaching or potentially to our students, and these are things that we think Park needs to be exploring. So it's really an opportunity for the Park community of educators to weigh in and say, okay, what ways do we maybe want to direct or take our own teaching in the next year, and giving us a venue to do that as faculty or instructors here. Yeah, and I don't know at this point, I don't know if it's just any questions for people or.
Does everybody know, were there any questions up front on sort of the obligations of being part of the Faculty Fellow program? Because if there are, I can go ahead and just quickly give a run through of sort of what it is to be a fellow, what you do as a fellow. Does that be something that people would be interested in, or do you feel like you know that information already?
I would like to know that. I would like to know the time.
I would like to know that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
and expectations.
I would too. Thank you.
And FCI leadership, who's off screen over here, you can correct any of our mistakes.
You're welcome to take this over, Stacey, if you want to.
I think you guys know as much as I do at this point since you've been doing it, but I will certainly add in if necessary.
I would say the application itself is not actually particularly onerous. It's like a couple of pages. I think I managed to do it on a couple of afternoons of dedicated work time where I had my husband's aunt watch our baby and had time to work, and that was in early April.
Yeah, so applications are due, I believe it's April 4th.
And I just want to throw out that each of our applications are on the FCI website. So if you want examples of what an application might look like, an application was accepted, there are 5 of them on the website. Adam Pottis has taken another position and he's no longer with us, but all of his information is still on the FCI website. So that would be a way to get some examples.
Yeah. So if you have your application and they say, come join the fellows program to you, what happens from there is your responsibilities essentially, or what we do is we had a 2-day meeting in May for orientation and start to sort of develop our ideas further, start to develop how we're going to hook people into the ideas and just get to know each other. And then, was it a day and a half? I think it was a day and a half in March.
So it's usually hi all, this is Stacy. Hi Carol. So it's usually around 2 days. Yeah, it'll be in May, and whoever is chosen will work around everybody's schedule to find 2 days that work, because I know that with the end of the semester, some people like take off immediately, so we try to work around that, but it's usually around the end of May. And Amber Daly is our director of FCI, and she's the one that leads the workshop or the retreat. Amber calls it a retreat. And we usually do, as Debbie said, we sort of talk about like what you all would be doing in the fall, how to go about thinking and planning your special interest group. But it's also an opportunity to really get to know your fellow fellows and to start to build a community among that group. And we did some, fun little things like
We got a really nice meal out of it and Shamey.
It's drive golf.
Yeah, we got to drive golf carts around campus. It was quite fun. And I just want to say that Amber provides some amazing learning opportunities for us. She did this as part of that. Pretty much every group provides learning opportunities for us. So she really presents material that's exciting and innovative about teaching, or about being in community, or about self-care, or whatever. And so she did give an awesome presentation to us in that March or May. In May. Yeah. So anyway, and then we met again at the very end of July, right? Wasn't it for 2 days? Was it 2 days?
I think it was just an afternoon.
Just an afternoon, just one day.
Yeah, and basically it's just like right before the semester starts. So again, we tried to work around schedules. I think Adam had to join us via Zoom, but that's okay. And it was, again, that was at the request of these people right here.
We're overachievers.
Yes, they are all overachievers, but just because they felt like they would need an extra opportunity to talk and troubleshoot right before they started. So again, that would be up to the fellows who are chosen.
But at that particular meeting, we wrote our elevator pitch and we got feedback from everybody else, and we recorded it for the website. So that was really fun. But anyway, so you really start to prepare for the task ahead of doing special interest groups. And then, so as a fellow, you're required to do 6 special interest groups throughout the year. I know I was thinking about some of the other obligations, but this year we had to do a 2-minute mentor, which is you can choose a format, but it's a short and sweet, informational about a topic, and they stick it on the website. You can see 2-minute mentors if you want to on the Faculty Center for Innovation website. We did an innovation exchange, which is a 15 to 20-minute presentation to the Faculty Advisory Council. Yeah. And then, was that it? Are those the main obligations?
Well, and then we have the monthly meetings
Yeah.
themselves.
Oh, and then the monthly meetings themselves.
And those are meetings, generally Amber plans the sort of itinerary for the meetings. One point, I think it was about half specifically talking about our special interest groups, setting times to like reflect or share on what was working or areas that we had questions, talk about what we were doing. And then there was also other planned sort of professional development related to teaching. So the FCI staff working Amber were very responsive as well. And we've hit points where we either wanted to talk about a topic more, spend more time on things, or sort of shift format. We had some flexibility there too. But that was a monthly meeting that was a good hour and a half where we had that time set aside, and felt like some of those meetings easily could have gotten longer because we had a lot to talk about. But yeah, so I mean, in and of itself, so roughly each month you have the expectation that you're going to be planning a SIG for some time that month, and then you also have the monthly fellows meeting.
So a couple of questions from online. One of these was about how many SIG meetings. So this year, we all were, our commitment was to six.
At least 6. If
At
anybody
least 6.
wanted to do more, they could. I don't
Right.
know that any of us are.
And I think all of us split them as 3 in the fall, 3 in the spring. And then there was a question, and this is to you all, which is for the initial kickoff. How do you all have a sense of how that's going to be scheduled for people who aren't located in the Kansas City area?
Yeah, so I think if you're chosen as a fellow and you are not here in Parkville, I think we're going to try to find a way to bring you to Parkville.
For that May meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
It has not been, confirmed yet with, the people with the money, but yes, we're definitely going to try to make sure that everybody is here on Parkville for that initial meeting, because it is a team building kind of activity.
And then after that, I'm assuming that those at a distance who would be involved, it would be via Zoom for all of these meetings that things would be set up.
Yes, for all of the subsequent meetings throughout the academic year, it would be through Zoom. Also, just as an addition, beyond all of the great sort of benefits that you get that you've heard from, the current fellows about receiving learning about this new topic, etc. You also get either a stipend or a course release, depending on your dean and supervisor. So some of you may be in the position where you're not allowed to take course releases, or maybe that's not even an option for you because you're not full-time. So in that case, you would receive, a stipend. I can't remember. It's $1,500. So $1,500. So it's not a lot, but it is a way for us to, indicate that this is a commitment and that we appreciate what you're doing.
One of my favorite opportunities we had this year that I wasn't initially planned is that we did a book study, and I really enjoyed it. Amber and Stacy chose a book called The Slow Professor, and I appreciated it because it really spoke to the challenges that some of us have between having balance in our personal life and professional life, and had research to suggest that it's critically important for us to, for lack of a better phrase, take care of ourselves and to move at a slower pace, and that in the end that ends up benefiting us as well as our students and our contributions to our institution. So my guess is that as years go on, there will be things that pop up that aren't planned. And the wonderful thing about the leadership of FCI is they take advantage of those opportunities and pass them on to us.
Anybody else have any questions? Oh, and I did forget to say that you do present your topic. Last year we had to present our topic at the faculty conference in August. So to recruit people.
Yeah, so that was just, Debbie's referring to the fall faculty conference, and FCI always has time during the fall faculty conference to talk about stuff and do an activity, etc. And part of that this past year, and will be this next year, is to set aside a few minutes for each of the fellows to just give a quick pitch on their special interest group, so that they can start recruiting people to come to their meetings. It's not very long. I think we gave you guys a couple of minutes each. But if you are at a distance for that, again, we could perhaps just use your elevator pitch that you create instead. Or we could Zoom you in one way or another. We would make it work. The brilliance of technology when it works.
Another thing we had an opportunity to do in one of our meetings was actually have a enjoyed that. I always enjoy listening to other individuals that are sharing this journey of working in higher education and their experiences. So I think some of these things like the book study or having guest speakers will depend upon what's happening around us at the time, who the fellows are and what your interests are. But again, it speaks to FCI's leadership sensitivity to responding to any contextual factors in regard to the faculty fellows' needs and wants and or what's happening in our university. Because the main one of the main purposes, as I see it, I don't know if it's been stated, of FCI is to build a community of faculty who are excited about teaching and the teaching process and who find ways to have camaraderie with one another around common interest.
That is true. We do want that.
A lot of, I talk with a lot of people and they're kind of nervous about the work involved. And I was too when I first applied because it does, as a package deal, it looks like a lot of work. But if you think about your preparation for your classes, an hour a month to prepare for is very, very doable. And I think all of us have treated the work like as like an exploration or a journey. It's not sort of like you're going to be the expert on the topic, but you're presenting material that you found and discussing it with your colleagues. And I love that part about it. So I see it. I don't. I thought it was going to be a lot of work. And granted, you can make it as much, or you can make it more for yourself if you want to. But it wasn't. It's not been difficult time-wise for me. I've been engaged with the material, and I really love the material. And I feel like it's done so much for my teaching, and hopefully other people have found benefit in it. So it's been rewarding work, actually. But I wouldn't let that stop you if you're like, oh, I don't have time, because believe me, it's worth the time. That you will never be sorry to be a faculty fellow, really.
Good. There's a question on mine. Can you go into more detail about the expectations of recruiting other faculty to attend? Did FCI help you with this expectation?
I mean, you're not out there like, cold calling people like, hey, can you come to my SIG? At least I haven't been. I don't know. Maybe other folks have been. No, I mean, in terms of the recruitment, like Debbie was talking about, you record your elevator pitch. So, you have to be comfortable with seeing yourself on camera, sort of performing that way. And you go up on stage. We have sign-up sheets also at Fall Faculty Conference. So faculty, if they were interested, they could indicate an interest in the topic. I think at least for those first few SIGs, I think I got the list from Janie on faculty who had signed up indicating an interest. So I was emailing them prior to meetings just to say, hey, this is what we're doing. At a certain point later in the year, I wasn't doing that anymore because at that point I felt like, okay, people have heard a lot about the SIGs. They have a sense of what my topic is. The folks that are interested at this point are going to be there, hopefully. So, I mean, the recruitment wasn't that tough. That being said, depending on what your topic is, there might be more explanation that you have to give in terms of how is this relevant to other people's, teaching, their disciplines, things like that, just because I think most of us at Park realize that we have many opportunities in terms of the ways that we can use our time. And so especially if you're able to show that relevance and tie it into work people are doing and how that they will benefit by being a participant, I think that certainly helps in terms of getting folks there.
And we've also learned it's better to over communicate than under communicate within the center. So we make sure that we also send out the so that way you've got it, the reminders. So that's why you're here today. Attending this Q&A, you should have something set up for another event coming up on Thursday. You know, you receive the monthly emails, but that's how you get your SIG invites as well. And, you know, you receive stuff from us all the time. So yeah, we do hook up with the SIGs as well.
And I've found too that I hear people talking about, you know, my colleagues' SIGs that they've gone to and recommended to others, and I have recommended to others as well. So word starts to get around. I'll also say, Grant, this is a little bit outside your question, but I've been really pleased at the amount of attendance I've seen in my SIG from those not in Parkville, and I know that's part of SCI's mission. Is, you know, all faculty are involved, everything is accessible for all Park faculty. And so I think that's something I've seen already, and I'm hopeful in sort of the next year of faculty fellows that, you know, be able to keep that up, because that's been great for me, just to, you know, be able to have a meeting and have distance faculty as well. I think the other thing, and Kate hit on this, but I would just add is, you know, in terms of, since part of the expectation is leading these SIG meetings, these essentially professional development meetings, it's likely important to have something that's going to have kind of a wide appeal. You know, I think all of ours are, without a doubt, cross-disciplinary issues or questions or topics, and that's one way to sort of broaden the appeal. And frankly, I mean, that's just good, because we so often get stuck in our own either departments or programs or disciplines, and this is a wonderful opportunity to learn from both your fellow fellows who are probably going to be in another discipline, but also from the folks who are attending your SIG meetings, who are definitely going to be from various disciplines.
So picking back up something Glenn was saying too, you know, he was bringing up, it was encouraging to see how many people have participated from a distance. So I think that's something to keep in mind when you're also planning your SIGs, thinking about activities or discussions or things like that that you can do that folks at a distance can do as well. So if you're going to be reading something, you know, having a way in mind, either are you sharing it ahead of time, are you making it available during the session, are you posting it? You know, I had an activity recently where, you know, I was basing it on something that I'd seen in a journal article, an activity that they had done, and I had to think, okay, how do I twist this so people online can do it too? Because it was very much an in-person activity, and it would have been very exclusionary, because for that particular meeting, I think, you know, 4 or 5 people were online versus I had 2 here in the room. And so that is something to keep in mind as well when you're planning your SIGs. You know, not only thinking about if you are here in Parkville, leading it here in person, but then how are you going to be presenting this material online, since it is open to everyone in the Park community?
And I think that's been a big learning curve for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
But for sure, I know more about Zoom now than I ever knew before doing this. So it's been a great skill developer. The other thing I want to say about the topics, you know, my particular topic, universal design for learning, is not a recognizable topic. And if I had any do-overs with my experience, it's with my topic, basing it off universal design for learning, but label it, I can't talk, naming it something else. So it could increase the broad appeal across faculty. So something to think about when you're thinking about your topic. Can't stress enough that it probably needs to be relevant to, no matter if you're teaching as you know, online, or you're teaching as an adjunct across the United States somewhere, or if you're teaching full-time on Parkville campus. It should be something that the topic easily transfers to whatever your classroom looks like.
Something else that I just thought of as Debbie was talking and also looking over at the snack table, I will say that FCI does, at least for us, had additional funding to help support our SIGs. So like I was able to get a couple copies of a text that I wanted to work with. We'd also, I had expressed like if there was any money, if we could have snacks for the SIGs, the people here in person. And so that's been part of the reason why there's been able to be snacks at most of these SIG meetings where Betty has been good enough to bring stuff over. And so if there are other, supports, the things that you can think of for your SIG that you might need, that is something that you should also think about to have in your back pocket if you're selected as a fellow. Then you can talk with Jamie and the rest of the FCI team if there's ways that they can help support you with getting those materials.
I have a couple of things. I feel like we should just move over there, but
Yeah.
So a couple of things. One was something that Debbie mentioned about leading the special interest groups. And for those of you who are at all familiar with the scholarship related to faculty learning communities, there's a sense that there are no leaders in faculty learning communities. It's only facilitators. So if you're leading a SIG as a fellow, then you are the facilitator. You're a co-learner as this group all discussed multiple times throughout the semester or the year even about like what their role was in these meetings, these special interest groups, and it was to facilitate the discussion by offering discussion topics, providing some information, but then sort of helping to think through ideas and learn together. So don't freak out about being an expert on the topic that you're interested in. Instead, just focus on a topic that you're interested in and that you want to know more about, because this is your opportunity to do a little bit of research and get some colleagues' contributions. And for those of you who have seen me elsewhere, I also usually tend to be the scholarship teaching and learning person, at least for the last few years. And so that means that I want to encourage you all to think about this is an opportunity for potential scholarship too. I'm hoping that many of the fellows will have a conference presentation or even a publication out of their experience as a fellow, whether that's writing individually or maybe as a team, or even within their special interest groups. Maybe there's some faculty with common interests who want to start a project, maybe do an IRB, kind of project where they do stuff, implement changes in their classrooms, and end up writing about that. So there's lots of opportunities related to this program, I think. The second thing I wanted to mention was related to technology, I think, and I can't remember exactly what I was going to say. But for those of you at a distance or online, again, don't feel like you're going to be at a disadvantage that you're not here in Parkville. As Glenn mentioned, FCI is really dedicated to trying to make sure that all of the programming is offered to all faculty, and that not just full-time, not just here in Parkville, but all of Park faculty. And so if you do end up leading a SIG from a distance, we have our team, the FCI team here on Parkville campus, can certainly arrange a space for people to come in person if that's something that you want to try to do. And in which case then you would just be up on the screen. You see these enormous TV screens behind us here. The room we're in, there's like 5 of these. So there's definitely a way for us to bring you here. But also, if you are at a campus center, you could think about hosting your meeting at the campus center, as long as you're in a classroom like this that has audiovisual equipment to do a kind of Zoom meeting, and then that would link to the rest of us who might join via Zoom or via here together as a group. So there are multiple ways to do this. Those of you who have done Pirate Patch know that there are ways to do this. It just takes some consideration. Likewise, if you're at a campus center or something, we can probably, we can attempt to get you some money to buy snacks or something.
Yeah, our SCI director who hosts the monthly meetings Zooms in. So she directs the meeting via Zoom, and it works great.
Yeah, that's that's a really good point. So Amber, who's our director, is actually in Minnesota, although she's in Africa or Mexico or something right now. But I think she's in Mexico now, and then she's going back to Africa. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so she always, conducts things via Zoom at a distance.
I don't know if this is part of it, but I'm curious if anyone sort of has some ideas that they want to share or get some feedback or workshop, or I will volunteer to, communicate with anyone one-on-one about any ideas that you might have, by email or phone, or we can set up a Zoom meeting. But I don't know if that would be a good use of anyone's time to kind of get some thoughts from us quickly on that. Or if you just want to sort of share, if you have thoughts about a topic for a faculty fellow application.
Yeah, I think that if those of you out there or here, if you want to share to all of us, then I think that we can certainly do it that way. Or if you want to send a chat message to Glenn, we can even do breakout rooms right now. And so we can break you out into a specific a breakout room so you can talk to one of the fellows about your topic idea.
I would be interested in the second option.
Okay.
Amber kind of mentioned that in faculty senate, that we'd have the opportunity to talk to somebody. I wasn't prepared to talk in front of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fully developed, but I have some ideas, but I would like some feedback. What I'm struggling with is the generalizability.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that any one of us is happy to talk to you. And if you want to do it now.
Glenn, is there anybody online who wants to talk out loud and is braver than me?
Probably go up here too.
Yeah, are there any who'd like to share with the whole group? Or I'm willing to privately chat with anyone, or I've got my computer here too.
I have my
We could
computer.
do a breakout room right now and have a face-to-face chat like that. Just volunteer, either say yes or type something into the chat.
All right, Glenn, how do we do that? This is Kathy. I've got like 4 ideas, but I don't, I'm all over the place. So.
Well, that's okay, Kathy. I think actually, if you have several ideas, it might be worthwhile to talk to somebody and run those ideas by them. Maybe they can help you narrow it.
Okay, well, one thing all right, I'll just throw it out there. I don't care. So we are struggling in nursing, and it's not only, it's in the profession itself, with civility and incivility. And so and then I attended a sociology class yesterday. I mean, social work, sorry, not sociology. And again, I saw she had to ask people to put their electronics away to watch a film. And then as soon as the film came out, boom, everybody was on their phones again. And it just, was kind of interesting. So that might be interesting to explore civility in the classroom.
So what
I'm
was
really fascinated by this topic of growth mindset. I know that's from AQ, but I think just because we have different students coming in with different preparation for college, it'd be interesting to see if they feel okay, like am I do they know that it's effort, you know what I mean, versus that fixed, I'm not smart, therefore I'm failing this first semester of college kind of thing. You know what I mean? That whole growth mindset. And we struggle with that in nursing too, because, our first semester we have that pathophysiology course, and it's really difficult. And nursing home, it just gets harder and harder. So, I showed those 2 TED Talks today because, they're 1/8 done with nursing school. And I'm like, look, it's all about effort, and you just need to if you put the effort in and you've got that grit, you can do it. I was on that Thriving and Surviving team here, and there's a whole thing about culture that I really would like to explore, and then leadership too. So that's what I had something else, and I couldn't remember what my other idea was, but I'm all over the place.
I mean, Kathy, this is Katelyn, and so, I think all of those have some potential. I think the biggest things are, of any topic, first of all, what do you think you're going to want to spend the most time with? Because you're going to spend a lot of time with it no matter what. And so with any topic, obviously you don't have to know the full outline of things now, but I would think about, trying to break it down into pieces, figure out, okay, can I see myself essentially leading 6 different meetings on this, or can I take this 6 different directions? I've talked we actually spent part of one of my SIGs on this idea of growth mindset. So I know that there's a lot there. I think you can almost take, when you talk about students too, and this goes out to everyone, you mentioned working with underprepared students, which has been an area of interest in Faculty Senate. And I think it was somebody in the last, maybe in the last Senate meeting, and put this out as an idea for, a potential SIG, working with underprepared students. I think you could do this honestly with a lot of different student populations as well. If you want to, for folks out there that aren't really sure about, what their topic might want to be, you could almost, someone wanted to do something on working with first generation college students. There's a lot of stuff out there versus, underprepared students versus non-traditional students. I mean, you can look at learning a lot of different ways, but if you've got, multiple topics that you're kicking around, Kathy, I would say the first part is just figuring out which one you want, just like we tell our students with a research paper, pick the one that interests you the most, because that's where you're going to learn. Similarly, figure out the topic that you think there's the most there on and that you would want to spend the most time with. Because I think with any of those, you could probably, you could make a SIG out of it. It's really just, what you're feeling most interested in, or what you think you're going to want to spend time with.
Yeah, and Kathy, if I could add, because I know something about what you're talking about, growth mindset and some of the stuff that you're probably referring to. And if I had one piece of advice, I think it's an amazing topic. I think so many faculty could learn from what you would explore in that topic. But if I could offer one piece of information, it would be to make sure that the topic is easily understood. So if they see the name, they can understand it. So growth mindset might not be somebody that everybody understands, even though that's the underlying theme. So you might want to social emotional learning in the classroom or issues or students engagement across, thinking of across social emotional factors or biopsychosocial, whatever.
Yeah.
Even that might be a little bit kind of, those words might be a little big, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes,
right?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Catchier title.
That topic, because this is that, like I said, I think that was my big, like.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Debbie, what you're talking about is interesting. I mean, essentially, you're telling, Kathy to think about it almost in terms of like her elevator pitch or how she should break it down. And I think that would be good advice, really, for everyone to think about. Not obviously, you won't need an elevator pitch unless you're selected as a fellow, and you won't need it until more like August. But I think it helps to think of your topic like, how would I explain this to someone who's not familiar with it in a way that makes it approachable and exciting. Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I have this problem with students in the classroom, or I've encountered this and I don't know sort of how to, so I'm gonna go to this SIG because it's gonna inform me on how I can better relate to students or whatever, be a better instructor.
Yeah.
That really goes for everybody. There's sort of universal issues we all face in the classroom.
And actually, I think that's really good advice for the application too, right? Is if you guys who are considering doing this, look at the applications of the current fellows, you'll see that they did situate their topics within sort of a personal and scholarly conversation, right? So they said, this is what, I've experienced, or this is what I want to know more about, but also I've done a little bit of preliminary research, and these are the areas I want to focus on, right? So we don't expect you all to go out and, do a bunch of reading before your application about the topic, but a little bit of skimming and, looking into your topic to see what's there, I think is a great way to set up your application.
This is a situation, by the way. Are there others online?
Hi, this is Nancy. So, little background. I come out of the business world, got my degree late in life, started teaching, and was completely lost. Learning I could do, but it's the teaching and teaching online where I got lost. Well, I've been with Park now for 5 years, and the last year I've been a peer reviewer. And what I've seen and what's begun to develop a real passion for me is how to be a better online teacher, how to engage real students and real people in a virtual classroom. So this past semester, I got reviewed. And what I've done in my own class has been to do short 1 to 3 minute vignettes for each week of the course so that they hear tone, they see my actions and the way I speak, and then when they're back to text only, they are not misreading tone anymore. When I started teaching online, and even now, there's maybe 2 or 3 books about being a good online teacher that are probably 20 to 30 pages each. But what I'm seeing from peer reviewing is that's not enough. Most are checking the box. They have to be on 4 days a week. Doesn't say how long. They check the box. They're in 4 days a week. They write a comment on a paper. I want online teachers to engage their real-time students better. And so that's been my passion, to actually make online a little more real for the adjuncts as well as the student. I've incorporated PowerPoint slides into the weekly lectures because also we're dealing with a generation that is visual. Everything is on TV, it's on an app, it's on their smartphone. and yet Park is still very text-based. So do you think that would even be something other online teachers would want to talk about and maybe focus on for a while?
I think the instructional designers here at Park would say, woohoo! I think they would totally agree with you. And it might even be a good idea to contact some of them. They're all sort of experts in that area too. And they would recommend a lot of the things that you're already doing. So that's excellent. So I think it's a great topic. I think that most faculty at Park teach online in some form or another. And, you know, a lot of them also develop courses online. And so, you know, taking some of, you know, your ideas and incorporating them into, you know, the new development of courses is, you know, would be a great idea for Park. So,
I'd take it, Nancy. This is Kathy. It sounds awesome.
so I think
Do it.
Yeah, I agree. This is Glenn, and you know, I can see a lot of potential for something around that topic too. Especially in terms of the online environment, would afford you a capacity to easily record some of the things that you're doing and share them with other faculty. One thing I think that some of us kicked around back in May was like, oh yeah, and I can take a video of this great teaching technique and then share it. And it's like, no. You know, but you know, that could be something that I guess what I'm trying to say is I can imagine a lot of resources that could come out of that project that could be shared both during SIG workshops or SIG meetings that do, but also, you know, sort of shared chronologically. Asynchronously, yes, I should know that.
Right.
I love this idea of, you know, making the online classroom a human space. Because, yeah, I think, like you said, the checklist nature and the sort of nature of how we have this being recorded. Okay, I'll just say it. The nature of how at Park, you know, we sometimes treat online teaching as a series of policies that you have to fulfill rather than saying, hey, you're an expert teacher, you've got students, it's your responsibility to get these students to learn this material. So, which is, you know, of course, the way it should be. And so I see enormous potential in something like that.
Yeah, and I think, Nancy, if you make sure you focus it, so not just, you know, online, how to teach online or something, but focus it on, as you mentioned, that engagement with online students, right? And as Glenn put it, you know, the human.
I was like, there's your title.
Yeah, sort of making the online a human, making the online a human space or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Wait, repeat that title?
Environment, something like the online is a human. I don't know what you said, but
Yeah, something about making it a human space or.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that is sort of in getting, you know, sort of engaging online students, right, as opposed to just giving them information. But, exactly. So that's great.
Okay.
And that's not to say that, you know, if there are others of you out there who are also online who are thinking of similar topics, there's so much that you could do related to teaching online that, you know, you don't have to feel as if, you know,
That only
that
one person,
Nancy-
yeah,
that
she's laid
Nancy
claim
has
to the,
taken-
yeah, it's like,
has
what is it,
taken the
homesteading,
online.
she's marked
Yes.
out her plot of land and
Yes.
no one else can come close.
Okay.
Anybody else have any ideas they want to throw around? Was that helpful, Nancy? Good.
Yes.
Good. Okay, good.
I think a great SIG topic would be something that I would love to attend would be providing effective and timely feedback on student work without losing your mind. maybe I'm revealing how I spend my spring break. But you know, I think that is a topic that I hear from faculty across the university, adjuncts, from full-time faculty, from staff, from anybody who is teaching. I think that's an issue. I don't have any answers. I don't know that there are any easy answers, but I think that could be a good topic.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any topics they're batting around and sort of need help refining, or things that they're thinking about that are wondering if they might be interested to the broader community?
Or if you want to send a chat to Glenn, we can put
Meet
you in
space.
Yeah, you can always send a chat to Glenn and he'll meet with you individually. Or Denville, she's got her computer out now too. All right.
So do folks online know how to contact us? They have questions?
So the contact, or is there contact information?
What if I share?
Yeah, their contact information is
Somebody can share.
listed on the website.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm happy to share my screen.
if you have it already.
I don't have it all the way up. Oh, I can't do it while another presentation.
Oh, okay.
Glenn just.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you go to the FCI website, which is innovatepark.org,
Go to the
and go to the Faculty Fellows page. Not only is that a great resource to tell you all about the Fellows program, it also is where you would actually apply to the Fellows program, and you'll see that it's due April 2nd. And that's the application if you want to take a look at that and see what's required of you. But also, is it at the bottom? So down at the bottom is some beautiful pictures of our current fellows with their contact information, along with their initial submissions. So you can take a look and see what they used to apply last year.
Yeah, if you're even thinking of applying, I would say just do it. Like I said, I was out on maternity leave when this was going on. I was not really sure about the time investment, and so I was like, yeah, I guess I'll, see if I can get this done. And if I do, great. And if not, I won't worry about it. And this experience has been very worth it this past year, and I'm very glad that I have this opportunity. So if you're thinking about it, just do it.
And if you're worried at all about your application itself, feel free to contact any of us, or and so that includes me. I'm Stacy Kuykendall. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the associate director for FCI. James Els, Amber Daly, and we can give you feedback if you want to show us a draft of your application too.
We had a question come up. If a person wants to submit an application and they feel like attaching a videotape or an attachment of some sort would more broadly represent the topic they're wanting to explore, is that okay to do that?
Yeah.
Or is it like an example, like a student?
Yeah, sure. There's a space in the application where you can attach stuff.
So video clip.
I think so.
I can show you that right now.
Maybe.
I have
that's where I'm struggling.
So
That's what she and I were talking.
if you go to the Faculty Fellows webpage, and when you actually go to click here for apply now,
Oh, so there isn't really a spot.
so under the upload, okay.
Wonder, can you upload more than one?
So apparently it's PDF, docs, or
Well, those are-
preferred.
That's like preferred, but that's not to say that they require some style sites.
It does look like I'm.
Oh, I
limited to
can't, so
those?
I can't do, well, but I could, theoretically, I suppose I could upload it to YouTube and then I can have you click on the YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Yeah,
include a
it's not
live
like-
link.
Yeah,
Put the
so,
live link in.
yeah, you could include a hyperlink in your, in your
Hopefully the
text.
when you review applications,
But
you can do.
you- But,
I should
you can
easily
always,
be able to change that CV section to where
Like MOV or some type of
Yeah.
video
If-
format.
you can always send it to Jamie
at Innovate Park, or no, it's
innovate@park.edu, and she would attach it, and she's the one that removes all the names and stuff anyway when we do our live review. So if you want to include extra stuff, we should make it happen.
Well, for me, it's a kind of a complicated topic, and I was just thinking if I could show you examples of what I'm talking about, that might help.
Yeah, absolutely.
and I removed myself from the reviewing process.
Although I'm sure it would give me away because it's very social media. So it'd be either me or nursing.
I mean, it's okay if it gives you away though. I mean, I was talking a lot about, information literacy and stuff like that in mine, where I can't imagine that, I don't know who else applied, but there's probably limited guesses on who it would probably
That
be.
would
We've
be
got,
you and now Karen. Right?
yeah, so I mean, it's, it doesn't have to be, like, we keep talking about broad appeal, and ideally it will be broad enough that you will have people from across Park who want to attend, but that's not to say that you can't include aspects that are discipline specific or, that speak to your teaching practices more specifically. It doesn't necessarily have to be all things for all people. I think at a certain point, most of our SIGs have sort of started to self-select or down into the people that are really interested in, the direction that we've chosen to take our topic. Because even with all of us, like most of our topics could have gone other ways. And it's just how we've chosen to explore it over the past year. And so,
I mean, you could totally do something like you're talking about. You can do, creating that experiential learning or whatever, or creating, that would be a great hook for everybody, like opportunities beyond lecture or something, Right.
And then how do you measure that? And how do you look to see, if they're meeting the core objectives through those measures, whether it's in classroom or outside.
that easily, even just, getting these bits and pieces, it easily sounds like something that you could cover over a year. I think the other thing a lot of us run into is that there's way more content than you can possibly ever cover. And, I'm constantly running into, I'm going to put all of these things into my SIG and then piece by piece taking stuff out because I realize that there is no way I'm going to get to that in just, an hour of everybody's time.
In terms of the SIG meeting too, you can just count on the fact that the people who come are going to have a really engaging, smart conversation that way exceeds your expectations, or at least that's been my experience. So your job is to make everyone feel comfortable, maybe give them a little bit of a framework to think about or some good questions or a case study or something, and let them go and direct the question there, direct the conversation. The people who come to this are your colleagues. They're here because they care.
Right. Yeah. So, and that you don't have to do that. That's my other kind of learning curve for me is like thinking I gotta show up with all this material and be the expert on it. And that was sort of, you know, a mistake, because if I were to reframe some of them, I would have come up like with you, Glenn, just like a short, brief introduction of material and just open it up. So this faculty fellows is new this year, and we've learned a lot, I think, just in terms of how we're doing, the process of what we're doing, and hopefully we can pass on the information to you guys.
I think every class of fellows is going to be different too, though, based on the people that make up the group. And so, you know, this has been our experience, but that's not to say it can't be something else for a different group of people next year. So it's up to the group to determine what they want their experience to be.
This has been a really fun group of fellows. We made sure to give them a social. And
Yeah, they took us out for apps in December. It was a good time.
Questions?
Well, you know how to reach us all. If you have any questions or just want to shoot some ideas or workshop your application, we'd all be happy to help. So, and even Adam's available. He said he'd be available if somebody wanted to contact him. I don't know how timely his responses would be or anything like that, but he offered it up. His email will be working for a while, so he said. So,
Well, actually, he said it hasn't been working, so we'll replace his email with his new email.
oh,
They shut his email down that fast, apparently.
Wow.
It's interesting.
You're gone.
Yes.
well, thank you for coming to this Q&A. We didn't quite know how it would work, but it's been a lot of fun for me.
again, the deadline is April 2nd. If you have questions, please email us at innovate@park.edu, and we look forward to receiving your applications.